So imagine that you're looking out the window and you see somebody, a stranger, walking their dog, and all of a sudden the dog poops in your yard. How would that make you feel? Take it one step further. What if it's your immediate neighbor who takes their dog or lets their dog out and the dog poops in your yard? How does that make you feel? There's a degree of respect in there, right? In the first case with a stranger, you're bothered because it is infringing on your boundary. And that other individual has a responsibility to care for their dog. And they did not fulfill their responsibility to clean up after their dog. But if it's your immediate neighbor, there's another element that comes in there, and it's the element of respect. Your neighbor knows that that's your yard. Your neighbor, hopefully, has a greater sense of care about you as a neighbor. And if they allow their dog to poop in your yard and they don't clean it up, there is an element of respect that comes to play in there, an element of being valued as a person, the valuing of your property, the valuing of your boundaries. And the reason why boundaries, respect, and responsibility are so important, because if we as a society, if we as individuals, if we as teams are going to work well together, we have to respect each other's boundaries. Because it comes down to making statements about how we value other people. And if we don't feel valued, if others don't value us, we don't want to have a relationship with them. And it's amazing how many times we impose on other people's boundaries, we betray or don't respect other people's boundaries when it comes to work. It's as simple as not doing our jobs. Think about it in the car business. If a salesperson who wants the commission sells a car, but doesn't complete the paperwork, and yet passes that paperwork on either to finance or the office, and indirectly or directly is expecting that other person to clean up their mess. It's no different than the dog pooping in my yard and not being cleaned up afterwards. Basically, that other person is saying, I don't value you. I'm going to do these things no matter how it impacts on you. Think about it this way as it relates to a customer. When a technician gets in the car and readjusts the seat and maybe changes the setting on the radio and does not put it back to where it was for the original customer, how does it make the customer feel? Disrespected. That vehicle is theirs. That radio setting, that seat setting is what they had. And when we don't return it back, we may not even have the right, in a sense, to change it in the first place. Especially on radio settings and things like that. We don't have to listen to a customer's radio. When it comes to a seat setting, I get it. You have a tall technician, you have a short customer, and so the seat settings do need to be changed. Not the settings, but maybe the seat adjustment needs to be changed so that the technician can get in and drive the car. But then that technician, when they make a change to something that belongs to somebody else, they have a responsibility to put it back to the way they found it. And that is what allows a society to work well together, is when we respect each other's boundaries and we take responsibility for the role that we play in it. Now, leaders, one additional responsibility that you have is to provide clarity. Because sometimes within an organization, boundaries are not that clear. A lot of you don't have organizational charts that show who reports to whom, what things I'm responsible for and I need to take responsibility for, or is a certain item somebody else's responsibility. So leaders, you need to provide clarity to your people so that they can fulfill their responsibility and so that they can respect other people's boundaries. And when there is that clarity and that level of respect, it's amazing how well people can work together. So today, as you think about the things that you do, there's elements as simple as greeting people. That's why a 10-foot rule is a really good thing. When you come within close proximity of somebody else, there is a way that you value them. You acknowledge their existence, which is a valuation element. When you smile, when you say hello. But if you don't do that, and yet maybe it's with a customer, that customer doesn't feel valued, and they basically go, well, you don't really care about me. Why should I come back here in the future? So there's so many little things, the please and thank yous, holding doors open for other people, etc., that are small ways that we can value and respect each other. So today, think about all the things that you do. Be more aware, more cognizant of what you're doing or the things that you're not doing that you should be doing that will show value to other people. Because if we want to be a strong team and we want to produce extraordinary results, then we need to respect boundaries and we need to take responsibility for things that are in our court. So go forward, do the little things, and make a big difference.